From volunteers who contribute in many ways to those who've become more deeply involved in specific causes, Pam Loving, Michelle Callahan, Ken Callahan, and Soo Lee have got the bases covered. At Boston Cares' 2014 awards event, Pam Loving was so inspired by our honorees and how many had earned the President's Volunteer Service Award that she resolved to do as much as she can.
Community servings is great. It's definitely one that I suggest everybody does. Room to Grow is great. More Than Words is amazing. Gardening on the Greenway. Any of the outdoor projects or anything to do with the city of Boston. The Center for Homeless Veterans is great. Greater Boston Food Bank. I could go on and on. Just try them all.
As someone who spent many years on the fast track at work, volunteering has helped Pam to gain new perspective on the challenges people face in life and her ability to do something about them. Whether it's selecting reading material for prisoners who are studying for their GED, building a school library in one of Boston's toughest neighborhoods, or preparing meals for people living with critical diseases.
Community servings, of course, is definitely a huge impact I've been witness to. And they share with you, too, at the end of it, how many meals you helped create and how many people's lives you helped impact, and that's just right there. It's just inspiring alone. When I was at community servings, one of the volunteers there was washing her hands. She said, the reason I'm here is because somebody I care about was able to stay alive for another 4 years because of this program. So,
Pam served on our Kentucky Derby fundraiser committee and helped set up the open house when we moved to Canal Street. Her availability to lead late-breaking City of Boston opportunities has allowed us to be a more effective resource for new Bostonians, parks and recreation, schools, and youth.
you don't realize how much your time really is valuable for a little bit. I mean, what you can do before noontime, what you can do before 10 a.m. I mean, or even at night, for an hour here, an hour there. It's like, try it once and you'll realize how fulfilling it is. You'll get so much more back than that hour or 2 hours that you did.
By serving over 200 hours this year, Pam Loving has earned the Silver Level President's Volunteer Service Award. As someone who has always been close to her grandmother, Michelle Callahan started volunteering with the elderly in high school. After joining Boston Cares, Michelle jumped at the chance to volunteer at Hale House on a regular basis. And 5 years later, she remains devoted to the seniors who look forward to visiting with volunteers several times a week.
I feel like I've built a family there. Edmund and Sandy, the two residents that always come down for game night, I feel like they're part of my family now. I see them twice a month now, every month. And just the community that's there and how happy they are to see when we're there, and Edmund calling all of us his game girls. It's a great place to go, and it's often my favorite part of the day.
Seeing the issues that Hale House residents grapple with has made Michelle much more aware of physical and social challenges of aging in our society.
So the Hale House, you really see, and I've learned this a lot with my grandparents and my friends' grandparents, the older you get, it kind of is isolating. You can't really go out as much as you used to, and you don't have as many friends or family members around. So just by being around people, that helps them a lot because they're often isolated.
Michelle also leads dinner service teams at the New England Center for Homeless Veterans, which is across the street from her job as a civil engineer. Like Hale House, this opportunity attracts many first-time volunteers, and many volunteers point to her warmth and encouragement as reasons they've become more deeply involved.
At the New England Center for Homeless Veterans, you just see the whole variety of issues that they're facing that you have really, I had no idea before I started volunteering there. These are people who have served our country, and it's scary to see that, they often don't even have a place to live. Every event that I've gone to at the Hale House or at the New England Center for Homeless Veterans, everyone is so excited to be there, and they just want to do the best that they can, and they really care about the cause that they're supporting. So they really do go above and beyond.
Ken Callahan is a born helper, both at work where he does customer service and at volunteering, where he enjoys sharing his expertise with first-timers. While at Boston's Jeremiah Burke High School during the turbulent years of school desegregation, Ken began an apprenticeship that launched his first career in printing. Projects like More Than Words resonate with him because they're helping youth to learn new skills and change their lives, something he did as well.
I'm one of the students here that actually had the same interest that I have, which is astronomy too. And we kind of connected. We started talking about what her goals were, and she actually wanted to start a charter school. And I found that was unbelievable. I mean, that's something when I was young I wouldn't even be thinking of that. I grew up in the city. I live here, and I think that's one of the things that I find very gratifying, doing the services for Boston Cares.
Ken's longtime service rotation also includes the Prison Book Program and Greater Boston Food Bank, where this year he personally sorted over 6 tons of food that made meals possible for 10,000 people living with food insecurity.
The food bank, I mean, they save roughly, I think, about $1 million a year on just volunteers alone, on the type of work that they need us to do there for sorting food. I mean, we're the only volunteers sort the food and do the packing that we do. And if they had to hire people, they have to spend $1 million. That's gratifying to me because now I know that, that they're not having to spend more money. They can put their resources in other areas and be able to help people in other ways.
Ken Callahan is a bronze-level recipient of the President's Volunteer Service Award. He was introduced to Boston Cares in 2004 by his longtime friend, Emma Lathan, who sees the impact this quiet man with deep life experience has on those around him.
Ken Callahan is a true Bostonian. Volunteers that meet him come away, thinking, wow, he's a cool old guy. And they also come away thinking, what he contributes is great, and maybe I can do that too.
Soo Lee was born in China and immigrated to the U.S. when she was 15. She moved to Boston in 2014 to serve as an AmeriCorps Vista National Service member. Soo's volunteering has focused on adult education projects like the Prison Book Program and our new ESOL Tutor Corps, both of which support non-traditional adult learners overcoming barriers to employment. Soo also volunteers several times a week at homeless shelters where she connects with guests who are feeling isolated.
There was one old lady in one of the shelters I go to, and she is one of the older ones. She's wearing hearing aids and she speaks Mandarin Chinese, so she does not speak much English. So she couldn't really talk to anyone else, and she's kind of feeling embarrassed about her hearing issues. So she was only be able to talk to me. So seeing me every day in the shelter and talking to me was her only way to communicate with other people. So that was really powerful for me.
Because Soo's job is to generate volunteers for Boston Public Schools, it's not surprising that she stepped up for the Martin Luther King Summer Scholars Initiative, through which adults mentor teens about success in school, at work, and in their community.
I am most passionate about education. So because my experience with alternative breaks, I saw zip code determine someone's education, and that is really not okay. Education is the most powerful thing in a person's life, and that's really what we could use to fight poverty.
Soo's energy is instantly visible to everyone who meets her, and nowhere is this more obvious than at new volunteer orientations, where she has introduced 200 volunteers from all walks of life to Boston Cares, and has inspired many to become volunteer leaders. Having volunteered over 600 hours this year, Soo Lee is a gold-level recipient of the President's Volunteer Service Award. Thank you and congratulations to Pam Loving, Michelle Callahan, Ken Callahan, and Soo Lee.